Hi folks, it's Smitty, and you will probably see walking in and out himself. But we've got herself, and what do we have today, Miss Katie?
We have Battle for Germany.
And what do you know about this game?
It's one of your favorites?
It is one of my favorites. It goes back to when, well, I had lots of hair.
You still have hair.
Well, I had lots of hair back then. That goes back to when I was wrestling in college. That's a long time ago. So I think 1975 was when this came out, and it was one of the most successful SPI games. And it's interesting that what's on the cover?
Tanks.
Tanks. And tanks are one of God's favorite things in my world because they are forged a thunderbolt. That's what we always learned at the armor school. And did I play this game with anybody in our marriage?
Our boy Alex.
Our boy Alex, who usually kicked my butt at it in the scenario where you go from the Vistula River to Berlin. Yeah, he usually cut on somebody just had gas here.
I blame Jasper.
I think it was Jasper. So, and of course, why have I not played this game yet?
Because we're getting ready to move to Alabama.
We're getting ready to move to Alabama. And what shirt do you have on? Alabama. How about that? So, we will soon be able to play this game, but in the interim, all I've been playing is basketball and football and baseball games with rolling dice because I don't have to play anything out, right? Mm-hmm. So, as always,
yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye-byes. Hi folks, we just had a V2 incident here, or an O2 incident, an Ollie 2 incident when Ollie jumped across from the counter over to the game table. So, hey, it's Smitty. It is March Madness time. And if you're like me, you like to play basketball games too. This is what we're talking about. We're talking about Battle for Germany. And if you're like me, your bracket blew up last night. I knew not to pick Ohio State, that in both of the games that I played, Oral Roberts beat them. And what did I pick?
You hate Ohio State.
I hate Ohio State, but they're a number 2 seed and they're a good team. And
did you have me pick Ohio State?
I don't know.
I hope not.
But picked them, and 95.1% of the brackets blew up last night, and mine was one of them. But that's okay, except that I've already lost the Smith family thing. But we're talking about Battle for Germany. Ta-da! Right here, Battle for Germany, an SPI game. And why are we doing this one in particular? Other than we love the game. Because when we look under credits, our buddy Donald B., not the Killer Bees of the Houston Astros, but Donald B., well, he lives in Texas now, so he should know about the Killer Bees. But Donald B. Johnson was the developer, which gave me great faith. Oh, great faith that this would not be screwed up. And of course, why else did I get this game, Miss Katie?
I gave it to you for our 25th anniversary.
But you gave it to me late, didn't you?
Yes.
And were you a bad wife for that?
No.
Why not?
Because you told me not to.
That's right, and why not?
Because we were saving for a move.
We were spending down or paying down all of our debt to ensure that everything would be good for and that was Patsy, folks. For those of you who don't know, we have 1 or 2 or
10
cats in the house. So, Battle for Germany. Not much to it in a sense. Anything more than before, except it's got a mounted map board. And mounted map boards are special. Well, they're special in my life. But for our buddy Sam Kessler, baggies, single die. A nice little rule book, colorful, SPI, S&T type articles in it. I think the article is actually entitled, the one article is 4 counteroffenses, and then there's some historical commentary. Of course, they lead to the Panther tank. And what's interesting is we recently saw a Panther tank in Poland in 1944, and I had sent this picture to Miss Katie and some of my other gaming friends with a bunch of geese. So we got that, and we have only 8 pages of rules. I don't remember how many pages there were from the folio game, because the folio game is, it's packed up. So, but nice effort here. One player aid card, but it's the same as this, and you've got the 1975 setup and the 1994 setup. CRT here, you've got your terrain effects chart. What's interesting, now let's get to the interesting part. You have 2 different sets of counters. You have the original set, I like my Vanna White stuff there. You have the original set, and then you have the new counters. And is there any glare on those toots?
No.
Okay, so we'll be looking at these closer. But then, the coup de grace of this is, and I'll walk around kind of to the side, the lovely mounted map board. And I think they did, let's just keep it the regular side to it.
Okay.
They did I think they did a beautiful job with this. It's very compelling and very nice looking. Very happy with it. It folded very nicely with very little effort here. But of course, that's not going to matter for me, because back when we went into the Army and the Warrior program and they tried to fix me, Miss Katie bought me this beautiful table. And everything goes under the plexiglass, but we probably need to fix the plexiglass because it's a bit scratched up. And hi, Petunia. Mrs. Petunia, commonly known as One-Eyed Princess. Now, let's talk about the one book. This 3-volume set, we are on volume number 2 here, From the Realm of a Dying Sun. And it fits this period because it's the SS 4th Panzer Corps, thank you, Petunia, in Hungary, and it's the Operation Conrad and Bulletin for operations. Great book, really very detailed, and some of the things that get you is like I read last night where they've formed a new alarm company, an alarm battalion out of truck drivers to try to stop a Soviet mechanized breakthrough from one of the Guards tank corps. Yep, truck drivers against, here's your Panzerfaust, go die for the Fuhrer. Volume 1 of this, and it's 3-volume set, Volume 1 deals with a lot of fighting outside Warsaw and Praga. An area that's, I think, has been underwhelming in its historiography of what folks have done. So, Douglas S. Nash Sr., and of course he's an armor guy. How could the books not be good? Because he's armor. And everybody knows that St. George is our patron saint, and we sit at the right hand of God, the Father Almighty, because he likes armor people. Because the Lord likes to party and all those things. So, but the Nash book is good. This is beautiful. We'll look at it here in closer detail in a minute. And Petunia thanks you for watching as always. Thanks, people. Bye. All right, folks, we're going to try to look at things real quick here before we get cat help, because we normally get cat help. And, of course, Miss Katie's going to make noise by moving chairs around, because that chair doesn't go where she's going to put it, but that's neither here nor there. The traditional counters. They look like the traditional counters, and I still have my original counters. In fact, I think I have 2 copies of this game, but here are the new counters. Like one better than the other? I'm just happy to have the game. The rules. Well, it's a rule booklet now. Before, the rules that we had were the accordion type that come out of a magazine. And of course we talked about, I'm glad they went with an east front picture to start with, because really, this is where the war was really decided at this point. I like this picture in Berlin. And then they show the two sets of counters. Lots of examples. I like how they do the zone of control one here. Very easy to understand. They talk about the German theater boundaries. Collapse into East short game. Miss Katie talked about that. Alex traditionally kicked my fanny at that game. That was, I don't know why I ever played that with him, except I always had fun, other than getting my fanny kicked. Of course, here's the historical background article. And then we've got, let us get it turned over here. The 4 counteroffensives article. And it's a typical good map here. Then we've got, of course, for our buddy, like we talked earlier, Sam Kessler, baggie, your 1 player's card. Now, I like the way the turns are set up here. You got the turn, you got your combat result table here, your turn track, your top terrain effects, and your terrain key. Now, let's take a look at the map here. Okay, let's scan the map as we get Petunia help. There, we got the map. That's the whole overview, and I'm sorry, I'm getting head-butted here. This is where Miss Katie and I spent some of our honeymoon here so that we could look at dragon's teeth. You heard that right, and Miss Katie said, I know how to romance a girl. And of course,
I didn't say that.
well, she should have said that. Then you've got Berlin, which is worth 10 points. You've got Warsaw over here, and of course that goes to when we were talking about From the Realm of a Dying Sun, Volume 1 of this series deals with the Warsaw fighting. Very good series. Perfect for the East Front gamer. And this terrain is called Broken. Different shade. Kind of interesting. But this will be, we'll be looking at getting this on the table shortly after we get moved, because this is a favorite. If you haven't bought it, you might want to consider it, because the product is excellent this way, and you know what you're getting with the game. And folks will go, well, why should I buy a game that I already have? Well, we do. And if they're upgrades, and Miss Katie understands that if it's a better map or clearer graphics or something, she tells me just to buy it. So here it is. Pretty game, and you'll be seeing the videos shortly, and because we want to get this up so that we can continue the odds and ends things that we have to do to get out of here. Thanks, bye.